Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning trading session, the start of a new work week. Woohoo! Let's get the screen share going on here. And we're looking at the NASDAQ here, of course, for those of you new to the room. Just a real quick overview. We've got the NASDAQ here in the top left, or pardon me, the Hawk in the top left. The Falcon Swing Trader top right, Eagle Trend Trader bottom left, and the Raptor here on the bottom right. These charts, as I've mentioned, are the NASDAQ. I'm also watching crude oil and soybeans on my other monitor. But please don't be shy about requesting a market you might be interested in. Let's take a look here what's been going on. Friday session, big tailspin for the market, pushed lower and finished down here around the 48.08 area. You can see we have a little bit of a rally for the early part of the session, leaving us with a little bit of an opening gap down here. So we'll see whether traders try to get into that gap and continue what they started on Friday, namely trying to push the market a little bit lower this week, or at least for today. Crude oil also up a little bit with a bit of a gap. So crude oil letting off here last week around the 45.60 mark. And a little bit of a push. Crude oil opening somewhere around here, North American time, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Look at the trade forecaster, though. It says it's going to be in trend mode for the better part of 2 hours, 135 minutes to be precise. Well, let's see what they do. We'll give them a moment here, kind of get their bearings, see whether that opening gap is really, pardon me, a gap. Or if it's what we refer to as an acceleration gap. We are producing our first signal on the Eagle here this morning, and we've been tracking Eagle signals, taking the first signal that's in sync. This certainly qualifies, although I would recommend getting a second push on the entry. Just because it's early, the market is looking for direction. The second push means that we just allow the signal to engage, pull away from the signal, and then look to come in on some renewed momentum. Now, you saw me try to cover the trade down here. Oh crap, Eric, you're spending too much time talking. Well, I was trying to cover the trade down here. The trade manager wasn't going to allow me to do that, so I was going to suggest running the trade here below the trading band. Oh well. Not the last trade I'm going to miss. Also had a first micro macro cross and a double pullback here in the Raptor for you Raptor traders. So now I'm just going to have to wait a little bit until I get my next signal opportunity. We can expect them to keep pressing higher, at least to what would have been our profit objective. So they could stumble somewhere around this 48.34 mark. Let's see, do we have a resistance line here that we've just passed at 48.33 and looks like the next stop 48.41. So those first eagle signals have been working out pretty well for the most part. And with the first eagle signal, all we're looking at is the first signal where everything is in sync. I guess what I should have done is put the trade on and then explained it. Oh, that would have been smart. Wow, big push. know. Keith says, maybe we're going to get a soft edge sell here on the Raptor. Nope. No, not right now. So what Keith was talking about for you Raptor owners, possible test of the high, and then a possible failure, maybe. Looked as though the market might have been struggling a little bit. We're going to see some sort of test here, but quite honestly, it's looking like a bull market today. It's just a question of where's the best place for us to try to get in. Do we try to hold out for a retest of the hard edge? That would see the market trade back here to around the maybe 48.25 area. Maybe get a red bar buy signal and another bounce up. Unless something drastic happens to this market, I think, like I say, we're looking at a rally day. Are the NASDAQ bulls going to do their darndest to get the market to 5,000 before the end of the year? That would be huge. I don't know. It's a long ways away still. I sense that is their objective, however. 48.40, that's very close to Friday's highs. So this is, again, where the market topped out last week. And that's where we find ourselves today, almost right on the number. All right, well, we're going to get a possible late filter entry here in the Falcon. A little bit of a sloppy 4-arrow consolidation working here on the Hawk. You know what? I'm going to try the Raptor, or the Falcon one here. And I'm going to try a runner, stop it. And I'm going to put the signal on before I talk too much. I'm just hoping my stop is deep enough here as they try to push it through the highs. Oh dear, it's 6:45. My least favorite time of the day to trade. It always seems if the market's going to give you a knuckleball, it's going to be at quarter to the hour. we can write out this little swing. We're about to hit the break even. Our profit objective just up there. So the auto break even has been engaged. We just need to get past this first little swing. Now we had comparable signals on the other birds as well. Oh, sorry, the eagle did not give us a second chance, but we did get a consolidation, or I thought I saw a macro pullback there for a second, and we did get a double pullback here on the Raptor as well. Now, it's not the kind of double pullback we really like to see. Normally, when we see a double pullback formation, the market goes a little deeper into the cloud, and when it's coming out of the cloud, it's producing these buy signals, right? So we get a buy signal and a buy, stop it, and okay, wrong tool, but another buy signal. This is the same idea. We get a buy signal. I would not count this a second buy signal. I would count this one here because the double pullback, well, we need a double pullback. So we get the two pullbacks right there. Excuse me. And if I'm lucky enough to ride out this first swing, I'll become much more aggressive with my stop. In fact, I could do that now. Just hold it right there. Just below our resistance line. Come on. It's very, very tight. Whenever you run your stops this tight, it's almost always better to take profit on target. Believe it or not, the best stop for this trade is down here, below where the market started this morning. Come on. Come on, one more bar. Let's go. So we have hit our high probability target. You can see we're there right now. Are they going to let me ride out this swing? Come on. the ideal situation would be to have multiple contracts going on. That way I could exit with profit on one, leave the other one in for a runner, and with a little bit of luck, no, gonna get tagged here unless this resistance line keeps them away. Gonna get tapped at 48.40 and 3/4. Of course, there's nothing wrong with taking profit when you have it. All right, I'm going to punch out of that. We'll look for another opportunity. I'm just starting to think that maybe the market's starting to top out. After all, we have, what time is it? It's almost the top of the hour. We've been rallying since the open. And there's $100 sitting there. Not exactly chump change. Getting a macro pullback and a 4-arrow consolidation here in the hawk as well. Don't have that 4th arrow yet. We do have the macro pullback. It is a buy signal, no question. Just like the Falcon trade, though, we're looking at running very, very deep stops. Jim was always shy of buying near the top of the hour because that's, of course, the unofficial end of opening range. Sometimes that first half-hour trading is when the buyers and sellers kind of set their limits for the day. Well, we got some follow-through on that macro pullback signal. Our Falcon signal had turned around a little bit, give us a couple extra ticks. still waiting. Russell asks, how do you feel about the filter not going all the way into red? Does that weaken the signal in your opinion? I think maybe, Russell, you're asking about the late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. In which case, no, it really doesn't matter. All that matters is that the filter itself goes out of sync and, more important, comes back into sync. The trend line itself never changes color. What the filter shows you for the most part is a shift in momentum. So you've got obviously some strong buying going on, and then for whatever reason there's a little momentum shift here, but the shift is not strong enough to change the trend line. Tools using different algorithms to decide how it prints, and then momentum comes back into sync and we see the subsequent follow through. The Eagle filter is very good at showing this momentum shift. So you've got a lot of red going on. You see a block of green come in. Now all of a sudden the red block is smaller. Well, these are more or less even. I know the green block is smaller here. But now the green block is getting bigger. Okay, the red block is getting smaller. Now the red and the green more or less even. And again, don't micro analyze this. If it looks like they're more or less the same, they're more or less the same. So you get a decent red block matched by a green block matched by a red block. But the sellers, their momentum is slipping away, right? Because the green is getting progressively bigger, the red is kind of getting smaller. They are holding their own at this point, but then all of a sudden you get this green block. And you can see the green is getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Well, now it looks like there's no more selling momentum. Come in with the buy signal, and now it's all green. So when you start, especially on the Eagle, when you start to see that filter breaking up, you don't need to panic that, all of a sudden the market's going to turn. But just keep an eye on the size of the blocks. The nice thing about trading, of course, is you can roll back into your chart and you can view how this happens. So you got a big green block, and then you got some red blocks coming in trying to sell. Get the red bar buy signal, another big green block, obviously not as big as the one before. All right, we're getting a little bit more sell pressure now because the red block's getting a little bit bigger. Another red bar buy signal. And once again, the follow through seems to be a little bit less on the green. And now things are getting choppy. Everything's going back and forth. And now all of a sudden we get a larger red block relative to the green ones. Okay, we're getting our second macro pullback signal here in the hawk. I think, after a good 35 minutes of trading where the bulls have just been flat out, we're seeing perhaps a little bit of profit taking. As the buyers who bought out of the open now have a lot of open profit. They're going to look to reduce their positions to reduce their overall risk. See, if you think like an institution, let's say you have, well, we're not going to do 100 contracts, but let's say you had 10 contracts in play. And you're in here, and your initial risk, sorry, kind of have to do it this way. You're in here, your initial risk is at the very least below the overnight lows. Sorry, try that again. And now you've got about $4,500 in open profit. Well, you're not going to let $4,500 evaporate, so you're going to take some positions off here. Maybe you're going to take off half your trade, in which case you'll have $2,700 in open profit, and you'll bank the other $2,700. Maybe bring your stops up to break even, or wait for the next little swing, little swing like that, and then you'll bring your stops in and you'll roll your stops down here. Meanwhile, you've banked $2,700 and you may have $1,000 in open risk still. That's why pullbacks occur, by the way, as traders try to reduce their initial risk and bank some open profit. Now, unless the sellers get crazy here and take the market totally away from the buyers, which seems unlikely at this point, we'll probably have to wait them out here a little bit until we get a pullback and buying opportunity of sorts. Here on the hawk, things already starting to break up a little bit. We're into yellow bars. Our macro pullback signal got spoiled by the yellow bars, but that's okay, because I think it seems obvious to everyone that we're not quite as brisk to the upside as we were a few moments ago. All right, well, I'm going to let them wander around here a little bit. I will be right back, and then we'll see whether or not they give us another opportunity. Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? Not a whole lot. Look at this. We've seen the market retrace back to that first resistance line here at 48.41 We got a sell warning dot, but nothing else in sync yet at the moment. Sellers were reasonably strong on that move down. I would love to see a move back to the hard edge. That would be a great place to buy from. Might even offer an opportunity. For a little short-term scalp, I mean. Not really looking to sell, by the way. Not yet, anyway. Well, I'm glad we took profit where we did here on the Falcon. Got in off this late filter entry signal. Oops, where did I end up risking it? Maybe just... Oh, sorry, got in right here, that's why. So got in off the late filter entry signal, had just enough room to get into that trade, and we hit our profit objective. Oh, actually, they did go a little bit higher. So I could have rode out that swing, maybe picked up a few extra ticks. I probably would have rolled my stop after this green bar right here. And this is where we find ourselves. I don't know, things have slowed right down. We're working a possible trend change signal here on the Falcon. I suspect we're going to see a move here to the hard edge, which could put the market back around the 48, 31, 32, 33 area. Well, maybe even as low as our next support line, essentially 48.31. The thing about counter trend signals, they're greater risk-wise in the sense of the probability that the trade may not work out. The upshot is that you know where to cover the trade. You cover the trade right above the swing high. Now, because it's counter trend, you should probably only take a single contract. Well, they're coming down a little faster here than I thought they might. Now, for those of you using the support and resistance suite, of course, you can always use this next line here as your profit objective. That's why a lot of people like to use the support and resistance lines. I'm hesitant to sell. I do believe this is still very much a buyer's market, at least at the moment. By the way, for those of you thinking this was a first micro-macro cross to sell, no, it was not. The macro line not in sync yet when the signal prints. Now, it is true this signal has worked out. You have found your profit objective. It was not the first micro-macro cross, however. This signal that's printing now is actually the first micro-macro cross signal to short. We haven't seen a really good test of the extreme, or I don't think so anyway. And as I said, this is still very much a buyer's market. Let's see whether or not they can come back with something here. Into the first hard edge on the Raptor cloud. Boy, crude oil has been just dead in the water pretty much since the open. Look at the width of these bars here. Of course, I'm running the dynamic equivolume bars, which grow wider or thinner depending on the volume associated with each bar. And look at the volume here, 25 contracts, 37 contracts. This is crude oil, for crying out loud. Crude oil doesn't do that. Nobody's trading the crude oil market. You could get in there with a dozen contracts and slip the market. Oop, Dan says, Eric, you might need to check your contract dates. Am I in the wrong month already? January, the front month? Hold on. Oh, it is January. Well, that would explain why it's not going anywhere. Yes, of course it is. Duh. All right. Hold on a second here. I always like the continuous contracts. They roll by themselves. I may as well update the rest of my charts while I'm here. It looks like everything else is current. Yes, that would explain the light volume, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, that's better. The market still isn't going anywhere, but at least the volume is better. So this now the January crude oil, and you can see, yeah, okay, that's more like it. 12,373, and even the small bars have over 1,000. Okay. Sorry about that. Those contract expirations, they're always sneaking up on me. Okay, buyers, or pardon me, sellers getting busy. Gave us our trend change signal here on the Falcon, a first micro macro cross lower on the Hawk, anticipating a move here to the hard edge. At which time the sellers, pardon me, the buyers, if they're going to take this market back, got to get busy. All right, well, we're almost to the hard edge. I have to admit the sellers looking much stronger than I thought they would. I didn't think they'd get this much out of this market. Wow. Okay, there's a surprise. Oh, man. Okay. It's no longer a bull market. We will see the buyers show up here somewhere, but my goodness, the sellers, look at that. Oh, way to go. Daniel says he's in, up 45 points. Well done. I thought we were going to see the buyers recover a little bit early here, do another push. Nope, not at all. Way to go. Daniel says that's about 350 euros. Nicely done, Daniel. Great move. Glad you got on board. Yes, the sellers just pulled the market down, kicked the buyers in the teeth, pushed them out of the way. That's a rather substantial move lower. Nicely done, Keith. Keith says he's up 35 ticks going into sim now. That's smart. Steven says, I haven't made a trade yet. Not to worry, Steve. You know, the best trades are always the ones that seem to make you the most uncomfortable. It seems when you find those trades that you feel good about, those are the ones you need to be leery of. Okay, we're looking at a little bit of a macro pullback type situation here. We're through the hard edge, maybe a cloud crossover on the Raptor as well. The Falcon, however, fly in the ointment, being a little bit more bullish. I'm wondering whether we're going to see that a little bit of an uptick, a little bit of a retest of the high. After all, we did have a big rally out of the open. Well, we pretty much, the sellers took that away. We're pretty much back to where the buying started this morning. See if we don't get a red bar buy signal. very influential area where we're at right now, right around this support and resistance line, 48.31 essentially. Okay, we are getting a macro pullback signal. This is a valid signal. The way the market's behaving, I would probably go in light. You should cover the trade relatively deep, and I would probably take profit on target. Or if you can afford more than one, leave a runner in, see if you can run it out a little bit. But I'm not sure I would be all that generous with my profit objective. I think I would take it when I had it. Right now we would be in a break-even type situation if we ran our auto break-even trigger, that is. All right, well, we'll leave that alone for now. All right, watching the Falcon here for a possible trend change and a rally. Okay. Just wanted to see what my position size would look like. It's only a single, but that's all right. Possible 4-arrow consolidation coming here on the hawk as well, which is a pretty strong sell signal. Okay, here comes the Falcon. I'm going to try the buy. Shoot, come back here. All right, 734. Buying the Falcon. Stop's a little tighter than I would have liked, but I may choose to roll it back. Making a couple notes here in my journal. Come on now, let's go. So what I'm doing is I'm counting on the buyers that rallied the market out of the open to show up and try to rally the market again. At the same time, perhaps give me a test of the extreme. The extreme in this case being the high. Come on. Oh, you stinkers. Well, the market kind of winding itself up here a little bit. A lot of sideways trading here since, the last 10-15 minutes. Market kind of trapped in this range, the high being around the 48.33 area, the low around 48.22. Obviously, I'd like to see a breakout above 48.33. Come on. 33. Oh, then they move away from it again. There's 33, 33. Oh, 33 quarter. Oh, you guys, you're killing me. If I can get this bar to finish in our favor, it's probably be a good time to roll the stops a little. A little premature to do it right now. They keep kissing 33 quarter. There we go. Okay, we're getting a little bit of follow through now. Come on, don't stop. It's looking a little bit like a bear flag, isn't it? Market comes down, giving us this little bit of a retrace. You could probably bring your stops in somewhere around there. Try not to put them overly tight. There is definitely a chance the market could try to come down here and just fudge the 48.28 line before trying to go up. Of course, the best stop still down here. Sellers now going to try to lay it on the buyers as they think they have control of the market. Almost to our break even. Almost. Come on. Here we go. Let's see if we can't get to our profit target now. Oh. Ah, you stinkers. All right, well, break-even trade better than a loss. So we're still in that little bit of a transition. You can see the market conflicted with itself. We had the big move up, the big move down. And now the buyers and sellers trying to sort things out. Market's still looking bullish for the most part, in spite of the big move lower. The eagle, of course, giving us our red bar buy signal. Stops would need to go below the swing low. trade would look something like this. If we can see this bar close on the high, you could probably start to get a little bit more aggressive with your stop. As uncomfortable as it is, really the last thing you want to do is strangle your trade. It's one thing to get tapped at break even if you have a reason for doing so, but it's another thing to get stopped out just because you're panicking. I'm sure you know you never make a good decision when you're panicking. I got an amen from Russell on that. Daniel's asking about the squiggly red and blue line on the eagle. That is the ATR. Now, I thought that Ben had changed this to be the default now. If not, it's quite simple to add. What this is the ATR line. And Mike Filigera, who trades the stock market with the DTS system, said to me one day, "Hey Eric, you know, I've been getting very good results having the ATR on my eagle to add a little bit of a filter." So in order to add that, all you need to do is go here to your indicator window, roll down to all these tools that say IW. You're looking for the one that says IW TM ATR Trail. This is actually what your trade manager is going to use to plot your stops for the trade manager. But if you double click on it, it's going to end up down here in your indicator assortment. Click apply and OK, and you're going to have a squiggly red and blue line on there. Now, the way we use this is just essentially a confirmation tool. For instance, here we have a signal printing, but it's against the ATR. So what I would do in that case is I would allow the ATR to turn over, and this will now become my signal bar. So I would set up my trade probably something like this. And then the market falls off with a little bit more predictability to it most times. You can see here, for instance, we had some red bar buy signals, but they were against the ATR. So if you use the ATR as a filter, you actually didn't get into those trades. Mike likes it so much that he'll actually take an eagle signal as soon as it's in sync with the ATR. Now, I haven't experimented with this very much. I think Marlene, one of our DTS owners, has done a little bit of work with this, but essentially he would be buying that signal. He would be buying these signals. It is a little bit more of a always in type scenario. So he would be shorting this signal. He would be shorting these signals. But you can see, with the exception of this one here, they all had pretty decent follow through, didn't they? He would be shorting the signal here. Once it's in sync with the ATR, he would be shorting here. And he doesn't pay as much attention to the band. Now, again, I haven't back tested it. You're more than welcome to. But I know Mike also will run tighter profit objectives than what we sometimes do on the Eagle. So even in an instance like this, there's enough in here that you could certainly get out with a scalp target, even though it got nowhere near hitting our trend trading target. But yes, it's a very helpful tool, and as with anything that you choose to add to your DTS charts, it has to help you make a decision. If it doesn't help you make a decision, then get rid of it. But I found this to be very helpful in the decision-making process, which is why I've left it on my charts. But like I said, I thought Ben has made that now part of the default eagle going out. Stephen, I get the impression you're a bit of a comedian here. Stephen says, I've been married twice and I was calm. Maybe I should have panicked. Yeah, well, we'll leave that one alone. When you're trading, you're usually better off being calm. Let's put it that way. All right, a bit of an ugly four-arrow consolidation building here on the hawk. 1, 2, 3, 4 signals, all kind of sideways, all kind of right there. I don't like this bear flag flavor that we're seeing. See this little bit of a bear flag. It smacks of a pullback, in which case the breakout tends to come to the short side. For that reason, this four-arrow consolidation, you might be better off waiting for a second push, maybe even taking it above the high. That will help protect your position a little bit. Because it feels counter trend, I might even dial down the risk amount. Rather than take 2 contracts, just go in with a single or whatever your account parameters allow. All right, well, we'll leave that alone. There is no such thing as a 5 or 6 arrow consolidation, by the way. If the market's taking too long to consolidate and rally, either higher or lower, it's no longer a 4-arrow consolidation pattern. You know what, Jim? I don't know. Jim's asking, is there a way to change the color here on on the lines. You could play with the color. I haven't tried it, but let's see. I want to go something brighter. No. The person to ask is Ben, though. He can steer you right in that respect. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't know how. And for those of you who don't have it, I'm going to give you Ben's email. It's support@indicatorwarehouse.com. Sure, Moses is asking, can you show me where the pivot point is on the NQ today? Now, I think what you're referring to is the median line, which is the center of our support and resistance assortment. This is the line that falls in the middle of our 21 lines. So we've got 20 lines above, 20 lines below. And the center line right now, 48.09 primary resistance at 48.20, primary support 47.97 half, although at the moment it seems unlikely that we're going to see that. We're hovering, spending a lot of time around the secondary resistance here at 48.30 48.41. And if that's not what you were after, Moses, we'll hang here in the room for a few more minutes, and you can type out another answer. I know the typing is inconvenient, but if we had an open mic forum, sometimes things get a little bit out of hand. All right, we're getting a macro pullback along with that 4-arrow consolidation. Oh, you stinkers. All right, here, I'm just going to punch into the Falcon trade as I get it, because I didn't have time to set it up. This is our trend line touch signal, and essentially I'm looking for that break above the top end of this little trading range we've seen, and I might not even need to worry about getting a stop in play. And that was at 8 o'clock, right at the top of the hour. Okay, I'm going to set my stop here below the low, just so I have one. And we'll hold it there for a moment. And 48.42 should be my profit target. There we go. Come on, buyers. All right, if we can see a little bit of a rally here. I'll move to a more aggressive stop. Come on, just give me one bar. All right, that's all I'm going to give them right there. Daniel says his support line's printing a little bit differently. My data series, I'm not going to show you on this because we're right in the middle of a trade. Here, let me bring over the crude oil chart. Sometimes it has to do with your data series. So if you go here to your data series, mine is set at default 24.5. If yours is set at default 24.7, it will adjust the numbers a little bit because what it does is it takes into account the Sunday morning Globex open. So check that and see, make sure you're set at default 24.5. And that should sync up the numbers. All right, boys and girls, if there's no other questions, I'm going to close up the room here this morning. Try to nurse this trade into a profitable position, or at least a break-even position. And we'll do it all over again tomorrow. All right, we'll talk to you then. Bye for now.